Okay, good morning and welcome all to this online class in the subject of corporate finance, which is conducted for MBA semester 2 students. In this class, we are going to solve numericals on estimation of working capital requirement of a firm. So before I begin with the first numerical solution problem, I would like to remind you, okay, how to estimate the current assets and current liabilities, which I explained in detail in the previous class. So among current assets, okay, so how to estimate the working capital required to finance raw materials inventory. Okay, so you need to look into the problem. Okay, what data is given. So budgeted production in units. Okay, the number of units that are going to be manufactured in a year, multiplied by cost of raw materials per unit, multiplied by average inventory holding period in weeks, months, or days. It is given in any way. Then, if there is no information given, you need to consider 12 months in a year, or 365 days in a year, or 52 weeks in a year. And now, in some of the problems, like in problem number 1, okay, so you need not multiply these things. The working capital required to finance raw materials inventory is readily given. So to understand whether it is readily given or okay, we need to multiply these data. Okay, you need to understand what data is given in the problem. So in the first problem, this working capital required to finance raw materials inventory is readily given in the problem. But anyway, so we understood how it is to be done. Then work in process inventory. Okay, you can arrive it at multiplying budgeted production in units multiplied by estimated work in process cost per unit multiplied by average time span of work in process inventory. Okay. So again in the first problem, this working capital required to finance work in process inventory is also readily given. But though in the remaining problems you need to calculate it, so you should remember. Okay, then the relevant costs to determine work in process inventory are the proportionate share of cost of raw materials. I repeat the word here, proportionate share. Okay. So since it is a work in process, so all the costs, entire total cost is not required to calculate the work in process. So only to the extent the work has been finished, it will be given in the problem, like say 40%, 50%. So only 40% or 50% of the costs proportionately have to be considered, like proportionate share of cost of raw materials and conversion costs like labor and manufacturing overhead costs. Depreciation, if it is given, you have to exclude it. If it is already included in the conversion cost, you have to deduct it. Okay, so please remember. And finished goods inventory, budgeted production in units multiplied by cost of goods produced per unit. Again, if depreciation is a part of cost of goods produced, you have to deduct it. Okay, then multiplied by finished goods holding period in weeks, months, or days, it will be given. In debtors, you can arrive at the amount by multiplying budgeted credit sales. So sometimes it will be given out of the total sales, 80% are credit sales. So I have to consider only 80%. Or sometimes it is given in reverse way. Only 20% of the sales are on cash basis. It means 80% of the remaining sales are on credit basis. So budgeted credit sales in units multiplied by cost of sales per unit excluding depreciation. So if your depreciation is part of the cost of sales, you need to deduct it. Okay, then multiplied by average debt collection period. So what is the credit period given to buyers or customers? Okay, and one note here, if the company has received advance payment from debtors, I repeat, if the company has received advance payment from debtors, it has to be shown in current liability, because for company it becomes a liability as a customer has made advance payment and the company is yet to deliver the goods. And cash and bank balances at their Okay, par value you have to consider. Then estimate of total 5 current assets are there, 5 types of current assets. Then estimation of current liability, trade creditors, budgeted yearly production. Okay, so this is generally related to raw materials. So budgeted yearly production in units multiplied by raw material cost per unit multiplied by credit period allowed by creditors. So company also may be purchasing on credit basis from its suppliers. But again, if the company has made advance payment to suppliers of raw materials, this has to be shown in current asset side. Okay, you need to remember this. And direct wages, budgeted yearly production in units multiplied by direct labor cost per unit multiplied by average time lag in payment of wages. Then overheads, other than depreciation and amortization. Amortization is nothing but the installment of the loan. Okay. Then budgeted yearly production in units multiplied by overhead cost per unit multiplied by average time lag in payment of overheads. Okay. If the overhead costs include depreciation, you have to deduct depreciation. And the amount of overheads may separately calculated for different types of overheads. In case of selling overheads, the relevant item would be sales volume instead of production volume. Then, so we are going to this way, the current assets are estimated. Then there are total current assets. Then second, we estimate the current liabilities. Then we total all the current liabilities. Then we can determine the net working capital required, okay, by deducting current assets from current liability. And if it is asked in the problem, add margin for contingency, you need to add that percentage to arrive at the net working capital required after contingency. Okay, so this is very much required before I begin the numericals. Okay, so I hope you have read and come prepared. So hence, let's go ahead and solve the first numerical, which is quite simple. So I'm going to change the screen now. Uh, okay, Aishwarya, can you see the new screen?
Yes, I can say.
Okay, this PDF file is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so now the first problem, X and Y limited. Okay, you need to pay attention. I repeat, you need to pay attention and stay with me. Do not go forward in reading. X and Y limited is desirous to purchase a business and has consulted you, and one point on you which you are asked to advise them is the average amount of working capital which will be required in the first year's working. Okay, so you have been asked to estimate the working capital required for the first year's working of the new business. You are given the following estimates and are instructed to add 10% to your computed figure to allow for contingency. So remember, so net working capital, once you determine, you need to add 10%, okay, for contingencies. So the data given or information given is particulars and amount for the year. So remember, these all are estimates. Even working capital requirement is an estimate. Okay. So first data, average amount backed up for stocks. Okay. Average amount backed up for stocks. See, this is nothing but the working capital required to finance stock of finished goods and a stock of raw materials. So this data is readily given. You need not calculate it separately. So this way you need to identify whether the data is readily given or we need to calculate. So the average amount backed up for stocks. Okay. So stocks, working capital required to finance stocks of finished product, or working capital required to finance finished goods inventory is 5,000 rupees. Working capital required to finance stock of stores and materials. Stores and materials means raw materials. So working capital required to finance, okay, raw material inventory is 8,000 rupees. So this data is readily given. Second information is about average credit given. So there are two types of credit periods. One given to inland sales. Inland sales means sales made within the country. Export sales are sales made to customers in other countries. So average credit given for inland sales means sales made within the country, 6 weeks credit. Okay. So company sells its goods to buyers or wholesalers on credit basis, and the credit term given to buyers within the country is 6 weeks. Then the credit period given to customers in other countries is 1.5 weeks. Okay. And the amount required to finance debtors within the country is 3,12,000 rupees. And the amount required to finance, okay, the creditors, okay, outside the country, sorry, the customers outside the country is 78,000 rupees. So these amounts are readily given. You need not calculate it. Then average time lag in payment of wages. Average time lag in payment of wages and other outgoings. So wages, okay. So the time lag in payment of wages is 1.5 weeks. The amount is 2,60,000. Okay. Then stocks and materials. Okay. The time lag in payment of payment for stock of raw materials is 1.5 months. Okay. The amount is 48,000 rupees. Rent and royalties. The time lag in payment of rent and royalties is 6 months. Amount is 10,000 rupees. The time lag in payment of clerical staff salary is 0.5 month. The amount is 62,400 rupees. The time lag in payment of a salary of manager is 0.5 month. Amount is 4,800 rupees. Miscellaneous expenses. Okay, the time lag in payment of miscellaneous expenses is 1.5 months. Okay, amount is 48,000 rupees. So if you look at the data, some data is given, holding period is given in weeks and some holding period is given in months. So you need to be careful while multiplying. Then fourth data given is about payment in advance. So sundry expenses. Okay, sundry expenses are nothing but miscellaneous expenses, and there are variety of miscellaneous expenses like bank service charges of the bank. Okay, expenses incurred on gift, flowers, etc. Okay, so the payment in advance. Sundry expenses are paid quarterly in advance, amounting to rupees 8,000. Okay, so since I hope you remember, since sundry expenses are paid in advance, it has to be shown under current assets. Undrawn profits on an average throughout the year, 11,000 rupees. So regarding sundry expenses and unearned profits, we need to write a note. Okay, so I'll begin with the note first or assumptions first. Okay, then you are asked to set up your calculations for the average amount of working capital required. So this is the data given. Okay, so some of it is readily available, like okay, working capital required to finance stock of finished goods, stock of raw materials, and other aspects you have to calculate. So we'll begin with the assumptions first, or you can also call them as the notes. Okay, since it is not mentioned in the problem, so we have to assume that a time period of 52 weeks or 12 months has been assumed in a year. Sometimes it is given in the problem. They may say assume 50 weeks in a year. So you cannot consider 52 weeks in that case. You have to consider 50 weeks itself. Okay. So first assumption is a time period of 52 weeks or 12 months has been assumed in a year. Second, so undrawn profit. So I'll quickly take you to the problem. So look here, payment in advance. Undrawn profits on an average throughout the year 11,000 rupees. Okay. So how we are going to adjust undrawn profit? Undrawn profit has been ignored. Means it is not considered in the computation of working capital because of the following reasons. I repeat, undrawn profit has been ignored in the working capital computation for the following reasons. First reason is for the purpose of determining working capital provided by net profit. It is necessary to adjust the net profit for income tax and dividends or drawings and so on. We don't have any data on income tax and dividend payments. Hence, we cannot consider the undrawn profit. The second reason why we don't consider undrawn profit in the computation of working capital is profit need not always be a source of financing working capital. We have considered this, if you can recall, on the factors influencing working capital requirement. Okay, the profit need not always be a source of financing working capital. It may be used for other purposes like purchase of fixed assets, repayment of long-term loans, and so on. Since the firm does not seem to have such uses, 11,000 rupee may be treated as source of working capital, but working capital will not change. So hence, we are not going to consider undrawn profit into computation of working capital. Okay. Then actual working capital requirement would be more than what is estimated here, as the cash component of current assets is not known. This is okay. You need not write this assumption or this note. The first two notes are important. Now, assuming this, okay, we are going to estimate the current requirement of working capital. So I have to prepare a table like this, so which will have only two columns, particulars column and amount column in rupees. Okay, so the amount column will be relatively smaller, so you can adjust your table accordingly. So I'll begin with first, estimation of current assets. So if you look at the data, average amount backed up for stocks of finished product, 5,000 rupees. So what I said in the beginning is the working capital required to finance stock of finished goods is readily given. So we are going to write it as it is 5,000 rupees. And second data, stocks of stores and materials. This is nothing but raw material. So working capital required to finance stock of raw materials is also readily given 8,000 rupees. Okay. So these two information about current assets readily given. Okay, so how we can make it out? Because there is no information on cost per unit. That is one, which you require to calculate the working capital required to invest in finished goods product. So cost per unit is not, information is not provided, as well as budgeted production in units is also not provided. Okay, that is how we can identify whether the data is readily given. Even in case of a stock of raw materials, cost of raw material per unit information is not provided in the problem, as well as the budgeted production in units is also not provided in the problem. Okay, so then second, asset, current asset is the debtors. So So as I said, there are two types of customers, one within the country and second outside the country. And the credit period given to customers within the country inland sales are 6 weeks credit, and the amount is 3,12,000 rupees. Okay, so how much working capital is required to finance this current asset? So we are going to use the equation now. So 3,12,000 rupees, the credit sales made within country, multiplied by 6 divided by 52. Okay, because the credit period given to customers within the country is 6 weeks. So how we estimate the working capital required to finance current assets as the debtors? One is the budgeted credit sales, okay, multiplied by cost of sales per unit. But here pay attention. So budgeted credit sales in units is not given, as well as the cost of sales per unit is not given. But what is given is total amount. Okay, that is 3,12,000 rupees. Inland sales 6 weeks credit 3,12,000 rupees. This 3,12,000 is nothing but the budgeted credit sales in units multiplied by cost of sales per unit equal to this amount. So it is readily given. Okay, 3,12,000 rupees. So we have to multiply that by average debt collection period. The average debt collection period is 6 weeks. So hence we write debtors inland sales 3,12,000 multiplied by 6 divided by 52. 6 is the credit period or debt collection period divided by 52 weeks in a year. So the amount required, working capital required to finance, okay, debtors within the country is 36,000 rupees. Similarly for export sales, okay, the amount is 78,000 rupees, and the debt collection period for customers outside the country, okay, is 1.5 weeks. Export sales 1.5 weeks credit, and the amount is 78,000. So this 78,000 is nothing but budgeted credit sales in units multiplied by cost of sales per unit. Okay, so then we need to multiply this by the debt collection period to arrive at the working capital required in debtors. Okay, so customers who are outside the country for export sales, 78,000 multiplied by, okay, you skip this part, 78,000 multiplied by 1.5 weeks divided by 52 weeks. Okay, so the amount required to working capital required to finance customers in other countries is 2,250. And then advance payment of sundry expenses. So if you can recall, sundry expenses paid quarterly in advance. So if the expenses are paid in advance by the company, it has to be considered in among current assets. So sundry expenses paid quarterly in advance means once in a 3 months. So that is the holding period is 3 months. So advance payment of sundry expenses, the amount is 8,000 rupees. Okay, and then the holding period is, okay, 3 months. Paid quarterly in advance means quarter means 3 months. Okay, there will be 4 quarters in a year. Please recall. So 1 quarter is equivalent to 3 months. Okay, so I'll multiply 8,000. Okay, here you can look at 8,000 multiplied by 3 divided by 12 months. The amount required to finance, working capital required to finance sundry expenses is 2,000 rupees. So just you have to take a look at whether you have considered all the current assets. Okay, then once you are confirmed, you total the current assets. So 5,000 plus 8,000 plus 36,000 plus 2,250 plus 2,000. The total is 53,250. This is a total investment in current assets or working capital required to finance current assets is 53,250 rupees. Then current liabilities. Okay,